Hey folks, Joe DiSanto here. Got another Quicken tutorial video for you. In this video, I'm calling it tips and tricks because I'm just going to go over all the most commonly accessed features of Quicken and kind of just give you a broad overview and sort of get you acclimated to the software and the different tools that are there and available to you, and also the simple ways you can sort of organize the way you see information, edit basic stuff, and just kind of navigate your way around the software. So hopefully it's helpful, and I will see you in the video. I'm Joe DiSanto, by the way. I'm an independent CFO and business consultant. I actually spent most of my career in Los Angeles building a few multi-million-dollar businesses, and I've since semi-retired, and now I help other businesses and individuals manage their money and plan better for their future. So if you're interested in small business, personal finance, and real estate advice, please subscribe to the channel. Thanks. Hey folks, wanted to do a video, a quick one that's really just about kind of showing you some tips and tricks, a little bit about the navigation of Quicken, where you can find things, and some of the basics. So I'm going to show you a few things. This is it's like a kind of dummy file here. I got a bunch of accounts, but nothing in them. So first tip, the menu here comes in what's called the standard menu, which is like as Quicken has evolved, they change things and then they allow you to kind of look at it the old way with classic view, like many softwares do. If you switch to the classic menu though, you're going to get a whole bunch more options, and it's going to basically allow you to get to all the different features of Quicken from this menu. I like to have the classic menu on just because sometimes it's the easiest way to find stuff. Ultimately, this kind of sub menu here is I guess the new way they sort of want you to get to features. If you are under view, they call this the the tabs. And here under tabs to show, you can turn these on and off. But I have the classic menu on because I know I can get to everything from there. So that's a little bit of a tip. Over here in the account bar, you can, if you right click or control click, you can, turn the amounts for the accounts on or off if you wanted to do that for a reason. Maybe, I don't know, you're at work, you want privacy. You can also in here show cents in the amounts, or you can have your amounts rounded if you want. I'm a person of exactness, so I always go with the cents on. You can also have the bar here show what's called the current balance in the account bar, or show the ending balance in the account bar. And what that means is in any given account, if you go into account, you're going to have what looks like a check register. And actually, I should say another tip and trick. By default, when you set up an account, the register is going to look like this. Looks like a single line display. I like it to look more like an old school checkbook register. And to get that, if you go over here, you can go to use 2-line display. And then my tip here is by default it always has payment, deposit, amount, and balance. I don't really know what value the amount box offers, so I always take that out. But back to this question of current balance versus ending balance. So current balance is basically going to be, any transactions that are today or before. So if, I don't know, I put in $100 came out of here. That's today, the 24th, and then I put this in there. Another $100 came out of here. So the current balance is going to be what's above this blue line, or today and before. The ending balance is if you pre-enter a bunch of transactions into the future, you're like, oh, my mortgage payment's going to come out in 5 days, or my credit card payment's going to come out in 10 days, and you have that in your register so that you can see your ending balance and where your cash flow is going to be. You can choose to have the bar either show the current balance or the ending balance. So right now, the savings seed, the current balance is minus $100. It's also noted down here, but the ending balance is minus $200. If I go to ending balance, it's going to change that there. Okay, next feature in regards to accounts, if you right-click, you can rearrange your accounts and reorganize these sort of subgroups of accounts. Now, I do a whole video on the account bar and like the types of accounts and all that, so I recommend you watch that if you want to get a better understanding of how Quicken labels accounts, how it organizes them, and the hierarchy it sort of creates for them. But that's a quick thing. You can rearrange those if you like. Let that save. Okay. Another thing to know about is the Preferences pane. So under Edit Preferences, there's a whole bunch of different options you can put in here that relate to how Quicken looks, how it kind of acts when you download stuff, if it automatically memorizes things and inputs that information, and if it asks you to confirm things. There's a whole bunch of stuff. I do a whole video on the Preferences pane and all the details of that. So check that out if you want to know more, but I'm just like trying to give people a quick overview of where to find different things that are helpful. The toolbar here, by the way, is an important one because under the toolbar, we have various like account functionality things, one being the account list. So the account list is kind of like what you see in the account bar, but it's where you can move things around. Like if you click on a particular account and you want to move it up in your organization here, you do that in the account list and it shows up here. So that is something. Now you can also right click here on the account bar and get to the account list that way. So this says rearrange accounts, which allows you really more to rearrange the headings of your accounts, whereas if you want to truly rearrange your accounts, you would go to the account list, select the account here. Well, there's got to be more than one in a subheading, and then you can arrange it. Now, there's multiple ways to get to the same thing in Quicken, so I'm going to kind of jump to the next thing I'm seeing here. So the account list essentially obviously lists your accounts, as I showed you. You can reorder, but if you hit this edit button, it'll bring up like the specific dialog box of information for that account. And it's going to have the account name in there. There's going to be different options you can choose depending on what kind of account it is. It's going to be where you can access your if you set up an account that's offline and then you want to put it online later, you can go into here, online services, to do a setup after the fact. It's also going to give you your display options. So if you originally set it as a personal account, but you want to do make it a business account instead, you can change that. These display options will affect the way the account appears in here. Again, more on that in that account bar specific video I made. You can choose to keep accounts separate or hide them here. So that account specific dialog box can be accessed this way. However, you can also just right click on the account here and hit edit delete account, and it'll bring up that box. Now it says edit delete account because this is where you could possibly delete an account if you wanted to. So that's a quick way to get to that. Let's see, also under the toolbar you can get to your category list, and if you watch my other videos, you're going to quickly understand the importance of categories and how you organize the categories reflects how your reporting comes out. So category list is important. It also has the tag list. As of the making of this video, I haven't done a detailed video on tags, but I'm going to, and tags can be very helpful in further organizing your information in the reports, and also like easily turning certain features on and off in reports. What else is under here? The security list is once you get into putting your investment accounts in there, you're going to actually add individual securities so Quicken can download quotes and keep your investment accounts up to date. This is where you can get to your list of securities, and then in those securities, they each have a dialog box of further more detailed information, like historical pricing and a variety of things. That's the security list. The recategorize option is once you've categorized a bunch of things, say you want to recategorize, I don't know, like 20 transactions, and they're all in one category, you want to put them in another. Well, instead of like individually going into each transaction, you can come in here, you can look into a specific category, find your transactions, select them, and recategorize them. But tip here is there is another tool called Find and Replace, which I always forget where Find and Replace. Find and Replace, oddly, is under Edit. Find and Replace is the recategorization tool plus a whole bunch more. Find and Replace not only allows you to look up stuff in categories, but it allows you to look up transactions using a whole bunch of other fields, and then recategorize stuff that you find, or retag stuff that you find, or rename things if you want. So Find and Replace is a really powerful tool, and pretty much renders the recategorize tool useless. I don't know why they have both, but they do, and it's confusing in a way. So there's that tool. And of course, for some reason, that tool is not under Tools, it's under Edit. Let's see. One-step update is once you have a bunch of accounts set up with online connections, you hit one button and it updates them all. You can hit that from here, but that's also what this button does, okay? That's account updates. That's one-step update. This button is add an account. So if you want to add a new account to your list, you can do one you can set it up as a connected account right off the bat. You can set it up as an offline account first. This is where you would set up your business AP and AR and so on. And then this little gear button is brings you to essentially when I right click here, that's the same thing as this button. Where you can get the account list, you can rearrange accounts, you can change the way things look. Okay, what else? Password Vault. So once you set up your first account with an online access, it's going to ask you if you want it to memorize the username and password so that when you do one-step update, it happens, without you having to enter passwords every time. In order to do that, you set up a password vault. You put in a password for your password vault, and it can be different from the password of the file, or it can be the same depending if you want to make it easier on yourself. Once you set that up, I guess it has password requirements now. Once you set that up, it's going to start storing all your usernames and passwords in here for your connected accounts. And so if at some point you change your bank's password, you can come in here, select that account, and you can change the password to be the new one. Nowadays, it used to be the case where every single username and password was in here. Nowadays, Quicken is updating the way it's connecting to banks, and it's not always storing the passwords in here in full for security purposes. But a lot of them will be in here. And obviously, it's password protected because it has a lot of your usernames and passwords in it. But that's what the password vault is. Let's see. I mean, I can go through everything, but I'm not going to. I'm trying to go through the obvious ones. Home is kind of like where the software opens to, and you can customize this view by clicking here and hitting customize view, or you can add multiple different kinds of views, and they have all sorts of essentially widgets that can give you, quick snapshot information. Spending is a quick place where it summarizes your expenses. I don't really use spending. Bills and income is a place where you can organize your bills and income, though there's a widget that you can have in your home view that I use for that. Planning is where you would put in your budget if you want to have a budget, so you can do reports against your budget. Investing, I don't want to go too deep into these things. Let's see. Mobile and web. This is basically, I've said many a time, Quicken's kind of a legacy product in that it actually has a database file that sits on your computer. It's slowly been trying to transition itself to be more of a web-based thing. So I think what eventually will prove to be a middle step is that it still has a database file, but you can sync everything you do on your computer to your web-based account, and then you can access the information through a portal, a web-based portal, or your mobile phone, and you can actually do a lot of the work there right on your phone and enter transactions and attach receipts and all that. But your software syncs, so you can choose to have sync on or sync off. But that's what mobile and web will give you the option to do: sync on, sync off. There you go. Reports, ultimately, to me, reports is like what we're doing all this data entry for, so we can do reports, see our, the reality of our finances, and then make good, informed decisions going forward. That's the whole purpose of doing bookkeeping for your personal life, just like it's the whole reason you do bookkeeping for a business. It's not because you like to do data entry, it's because you need to summarize your financial information in such a way that it, delivers quality information to you, and you use that information to make good decisions going forward. I think that's enough for tips and tricks here. I really just wanted to give a quick look around of some of the most commonly used features and help save you some time in getting acclimated to the software. Okay, see you in the next video.